Okay, folks, I have tried 3 times today to get the discussion of how to cite a source boiled down to like a 7, 8, 9, 10-minute video. Can't do it. So we, for this paper, are just going to name the source. You don't have to do a works cited list. If you hang on for just a sec, those of you who get seasick, here we go. Whoop. Right down at the bottom, MLA format. The last page of the paper is always something called a works cited list. This list tells your readers all of your different sources, right? So there's a source, there's a source. You can tell where they break, right? Which one is which because they stick out like this, okay? So that's how it works. There's a works cited list at the end of your paper. But how does the reader know which citation goes with which source? Well, you have to name the source, like let's say Adams, right? You have to name the source in the text. For right now, all we are going to worry about is naming the source in the text. We are not going to worry about a works cited list. Let me say that one more time. For right now, all we're going to worry about is naming the source in the text. We are not going to have to do a works cited list for this paper. It's too complicated to explain in a video of any. The length would just be ridiculous. So here we go. For right now, let's say something like this. Okay, so you need one cited source in your paper. Here's an example of a cited source from the Hacker Orlov paper. I'm going to scroll up to the top so you can see the title. This paper that I asked you to look at for class today. Here, they have paraphrased a source. Paraphrase means you get a fact or an idea from the source, but you don't use the exact words from the source. And how you know, it's really important because, again, we were talking about $1 before, it's really important that you don't look like you're stealing. And how you tell somebody that you are sharing an idea, borrowing an idea, and giving the originator of that idea credit for their work is by using something called a signal phrase. Right here. This is something called a signal phrase, and there's lots and lots of ways to do this. You could say, you know, Mike Jones stated that, right? Just name your source. That's all I'm asking you to do for this paper. So in this case, they found this fact. They wanted to put that fact in their paper. So before they put the fact in, they just said where they found it. Simple. That's all I'm asking you to do. Okay, I'm going to show you one more. This one is on page 4 of the Hacker paper if you want to have a look at that. Again, we are not doing a works cited list for this paper. All I'm asking you to do is name the source. The one we saw before was a paraphrase. That means they took a fact or an idea from somewhere and they put it in their own words. You still have to give credit for where you found it. Just say where it came from before you found it. I just want to show you one more. This one has a quote in it. There's some quotation marks. There's some quotation marks. You use quotation marks when you take the exact words, and it has to be the exact words. When you take the exact words from a source, you use quotation marks. So here is the quote that they wanted to use for support in their paper. Okay, put it in quotation marks. That way the reader knows that it came from somebody else. But you have to also tell them where it came from. And that's why they have this. They have the name of the author, the author's position, because that makes him look more credible. You don't have to do that, but it does make your source look better. If you can say that they are somebody with a good job or a reputation, or they're associated with a reputable, university, something like that, a reputable institution, that helps. And then he says, again, where the person works, right? That's all helpful stuff. All I'm asking you to do right now, again, put the person's name, where you found it, right? You don't have to do works cited list. You don't have to worry about anything like this kind of stuff in the parentheses. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about stuff like this, where there's like a parenthetical citation after. Don't worry about that. All I'm asking you to do is name the source. So you'd say where you found it. You'd put the thing you want to quote in quotation marks. And for this paper, that's enough.